Good evening. RA 7610, Special Protections of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination. Definition: Children, persons below 18 years of age or those over but are unable to fully take care of themselves or protect themselves from abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, or discrimination because of physical or mental disability or condition. Definition of child abuse refers to maltreatment, whether habitual or not, of the child. Forms of child abuse. First, cruelty refers to any word or deed which debases, degrades, or demeans the intrinsic worth and dignity of the child as human being. Physical injury includes but is not limited to lacerations, fractured bones, burns, internal injuries, severe injuries, or serious bodily harm suffered by the child. Third, psychological injury means harm to a child's psychological or intellectual functioning, which may be exhibited by severe anxiety, depression, withdrawal, or outward aggressive behavior. Fourth, neglect means failure to provide for reasons other than poverty the basic needs of the child, such as foods, clothing, medical care, shelter, and basic education. Fifth, sexual abuse includes the employment, use, inducement, or coercion of a child to engage in sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct, the molestation, prostitution, and or incest with children. Offenses against children under RA 9610. First, child prostitution and other sexual abuse. Second, attempt to commit child prostitution. Third, child trafficking. Fourth, attempt to commit child trafficking. Fifth, child pornography and indecent shows and publications. Six, other acts of neglect, abuse, cruelty, or exploitations and other conditions prejudicial to the child's development. Child prostitution and other sexual abuse. Child prostitution, exploitations of the children, whether male or female, by coercing them into indulging in sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct for money, profit, or any other consideration. Who may be liable? Those who engage in or promote, facilitate, or induce child prostitution, which includes but are not limited to the following. First, acting as a procurer of a child prostitute. Second, inducing a person to be a client of a child prostitute, taking advantage of influence or relationship to procure a child as a prostitute, threatening or using violence towards a child to engage him as a prostitute, giving monetary considerations, pecuniary benefit. Those who derive profit or advantage therefrom as manager or owner of the establishment, whether the prostitution takes place, establishment serving as cover, or which engages in prostitution other than activity it was licensed for. Attempt to commit child prostitution. Any person not being relative of a child is found alone with the child inside the room or cubicle of the house, an inn, hotel, motel, pension house, apartheid, or other similar establishment, vessel, vehicle, or any other hidden or secluded area which would lead a reasonable person to believe that the child is about to be exploited in prostitution and other sexual abuse, and any person receiving services from a child in a sauna parlor, or bath, massage clinic, health club, and other similar establishments. Child trafficking, any person who shall engage in trading and dealing with children, including but not limited to the act of buying and selling of a child for money and for any other consideration or barter. Attempt to commit child trafficking, allowing a child to travel alone to a foreign country, pregnant woman's executions, affidavit of consent to adoption, recruitment of women or couples for childbearing for purposes of child trafficking, simulations of birth by doctor, hospital clinic officials for the purposes of child trafficking, finding children among low-income families, hospitals to sell. Obscene publications and indecent shows, the use, hiring, employment, and coercing of children as performers, actors, or models for obscene, exhibitions and indecent shows, whether live or in video or in printed or pornographic material, other acts of abuses. RA 9231, a mandatory law to RA 7110 regarding working children. Children below 15 years of age shall not be employed except when a child works directly under sole responsibility of his parents or legal guardian and where only members of the employer's family are employed. Second, where a child's employment or participation in public entertainment or information through cinema, theater, radio, or television is essential with the approval of Department of Labor and Employment. It is the duty of the employer to submit to the DOLE a report of all children employed by them. If a domestic is under 16 years of age, the head of the family shall give him or her an opportunity to complete at least elementary education, the cost of which shall be part of the domestic compensation. Penalties for specific crimes. When victim is under 12 years and for purposes of this act, the penalties for murder, homicide, other intentional mutilation, serious physical injuries shall be reclusion perpetua. For qualified seduction, acts and acts of lasciviousness with consent, corruption of minors, white slave trade, and other 1 degree higher than that imposed by law. Who may file a complaint? First, offended party, parents or guardians, ascendants or collateral relative within 3rd degree of consanguinity, officer, social worker, or representative of a licensed child-caring institution, officer or social worker of the DSWD, barangay chairman, or 3 concerned responsible citizens where the offense was committed. Thank you.